getting back into dating, whatever situation you are in after your break, is daunting. And I feel we should look at certain aspects that we have done in the past of how many ever years that you have, not dated, or months you've not dated, where you've done some introspection. I think we should go back and see what our patterns have been. Because growing up, especially in my teenage and in my 20s, I tried to fit in with the society norms of like how one should date. And I started dating like seriously in my late 20s, but in my early 20s I was just going with the flow, but it never felt right to me for the person that I was. And I feel like there are people out there who can never be comfortable in the early stages of dating. It's not that you're not a confident person, but it's just that going with the flow just doesn't fit right with you. I was never okay with the fact when people used to tell me, oh, you should put your eggs in multiple baskets and stuff. And I was like, why would I put my eggs in multiple baskets? Because I don't have the time and I don't have the energy. And how am I supposed to give half-ass energy to everybody? And if anybody is like that today, who understands that giving half-ass is just not your vibe, it's not something that you're built innately. And by that I mean, if people like you and I exist today, you understand that when you used to go with the flow, before you started telling people exactly what you want and how you want it, you used to conform based on what the other person wants, and you normally felt that you are not living your full self around this person, rightly so, because you are not okay with something where people are just going with the flow. You are someone who likes security, you are somebody who likes to keep things to yourself. And if you're anything like me, I am territorial as fuck, and that happens from the get-go, because if I'm giving someone my energy, I'm giving it with the right intentions, and because I do not like to do things half-ass. So if you're anything like me, when people tell you that okay, you should just put your eggs in multiple baskets, and honestly, call me old school, call me narrow-minded, it never makes sense to me. Because how am I supposed to put my eggs in multiple baskets and then distribute my energy among those different baskets? So how am I supposed to fully invest, and how am I supposed to fully commit or show up for a certain basket, if you know what I mean? And if you're anything like that, I'm sure when you don't understand, like, why would you waste your time? Why would you waste your energy? Then I would rather, if I want multiple baskets, I would rather have multiple baskets of passion. I would rather have multiple baskets of hobbies. I would rather have multiple baskets of movies that I can watch on Netflix. Why would I have multiple baskets of bodies that I'm connecting with, and then I'm investing my energy by discussing romantic things and about myself with these people? And then when I say I, it's you included, we are supposed to have this intimate discussions, if not in the first date, couple dates, and we do all these boyfriend girlfriend things, but we're supposed to do it with multiple people. And fuck that. Like, how am I supposed to share all these details, even about my career, like my job, like, whatever you do? It's just like your life is supposed to be private, isn't it? And that's something which never sat well with me. And yes, I can argue, people will argue, I used to be extremely fucking social to a fault in my 20s, especially in my early 20s and my mid-20s. And I mean, at least I don't have FOMO. At least I live my age like a teenager should, like an early 20s a person should, and a mid-20s should. And now I'm living as my early 30s. And I feel like people normally think I'm digressing, but I'll come back to the point, is that when people change, when people evolve, people normally tell you oh, you've changed now, huh? And when they ask, or when they even wonder, oh, you've changed now, are we supposed to remain constant? Isn't life about change? And aren't you supposed to change and evolve and be better? And that's what my parents have taught me. That's what I've seen them. I saw them grow up when they were growing me and my sister up, because they got married in their 20s, early 20s even. So, I just come from that background. And if you come from that understanding, now I'm coming back to the point, is that you understand that you also have to change your dating patterns, but not to a point where it puts you down. You have to keep up with the changing patterns of the society when it comes to dating, but when we look back, we were naive enough to just, succumb to it and then feel very less than when we came back home, because we somehow never got the respect that we deserved in a relationship. Why? Because if we had gotten the respect and the place we deserved in a relationship that we gave others, because we were too naive, scared, and we just wanted to fit in so desperately with the society and what our friends are doing and what they believe in their love life, we thought that having a boundary in our love life is a fault, because that will make us look like we have high boundaries, and having high boundaries makes you a bitch. And of course, many people like being called a bitch because they wear it as a badge of honor, but we are not those people, and we don't want to be termed difficult or anything. But at the same time, we also want to date and have a boyfriend, have a girlfriend, especially in those years of like 20s. We always want a partner, so we just put up with anything and everything. And there's some people are really cool with going with the flow and they do it well, but there's 10% of us who are not fucking good with it. We get possessive, we get territorial, and then we end up biting our own tongues. And whatever happens, however long this dating relationship goes on for us, we end up getting left, right? Because we are getting involved just randomly with men and women, hoping that it will be a relationship. At least I can speak for myself and to the collective who connects with this. And we end up blaming the guy or the girl, thinking, oh, you know what, he is this and he is that, if we do that. But I don't think, if you're anything like me, we ever blame anybody, but it is what it is. But now if I think back, it's because I just wanted to be cool, or maybe I just wanted to not come off as problematic, whatever it may be. So I was just going with the flow. But eventually all my relationships crashed and burned only because I couldn't just keep it inside. Eventually, after a couple of dates, I told them, okay, this is what I'm expecting. I need exclusivity. I need security. Are you seeing any other woman? Do you have loose ends, etc., etc.? And yes, now when I look back, me asking those questions to the guys who I was dating and starting to date, because I don't think I was ever okay with having multiple eggs in multiple baskets. So even if I was casually dating, I know that I was talking to this guy and I was just dating this one guy from the get-go. And if it didn't work, it didn't work. That was cool, because 99.9% of the times, every time I told the guy, like, hey, I'm looking for something serious, want security, blah, 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 the guy just honestly broke up with me. And I was okay with it. I'm cool with it. It is what it is. I'm going to give them that they left me, but they left me because I had boundaries. They left me because I told them that I'm not putting my eggs in multiple baskets. They left me because I asked them for exclusivity and security from the get-go. And I told them, this is what my expectation is, no pressure. I'm out then. And I'm out. So if you are those people who are just like me, who've told people in the past where you're at when you were in the dating arena, and now you've taken a break and now you're looking to come back, and now you're looking back at your patterns like this. So at least you and I should give ourselves that we did not conform to the society norms eventually. In the beginning, if we were going with the flow, at least we were smart enough to catch ourselves and tell them, hey, this is what we're looking for. And, if it didn't work, it didn't work. But you and I have also been victims of our own expectations where we saw potential. And when we see potential, even after we tell the guy as a girl, even after we tell the girl as a guy that, hey, I'm looking for long-term, I only do long-term and commitments, I don't do, fuckery, what happens? Firstly, the person who genuinely is only looking to go with the flow, because you're telling them that, of course they're going to tell you exactly what you want to hear, because he is just looking to go with the flow, she's just looking to go with the flow, and you're looking fine to them. And at the end of the day, no one's thinking that deep. Only you are thinking that deep. So when they are not thinking that deep, and in the beginning, like right in the beginning where you've just started talking and there's initial attraction and there's everything happening, you're going to be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go with the flow, yeah. And then eventually you're like, oh my God, is he talking to anybody else? Is she talking to anybody else? Because you innately can't go with the flow. And today you realize that. So for you to come to this realization, you had to go through that phase where you tried to keep up with the Joneses and you couldn't. And of course, if you're anything like me, because you couldn't keep up with the Joneses, so to say, personification, you were constantly probably laughed at or been told, oh my god, you're just way too old school, you're too traditional, or your boundaries are way too high, you'll probably end up alone for the rest of your life. So there came a phase where you erased your boundaries completely, maybe, and you just wanted to fit in so desperately you started dating Tom, Dick, Harrys. And today many of us carry that guilt that we ever could even energetically be involved with a certain type of a man or a woman, even for that one day or one night. When you were a part of that culture, but I'm just getting to a point here. And today, when you look back, I'm happy that I was laughed at and people said, oh, you should put your eggs in multiple baskets, but I just couldn't. And I should think to myself, like, what is wrong with you? Why are you so emotional? Why do you get so attached and stuff like that? I should beat myself up. And I'm sure you can relate that you have probably beaten yourself up a lot because you had boundaries, because you expected an emotional exchange with somebody, because you actually put feelings and emotions at a level where it actually mattered to you, where you couldn't play emotions just for a night and forget about it, or just for a few months and have these feelings and have people intimately involved with you, however extroverted you may be, because we all take time to figure out ourselves. So I can rightly so argue that I was extroverted, but I hated giving people so much access to me and then the relationship ending. So that probably really pissed me off when it ended. But now you and I should be thankful to that old past self of ours, even when we were just making our mistakes in life and growing. At least we told people exactly what we wanted, and we did not try to just go with the flow and end up really hurting ourselves. And if it came to a point we ended up hurting ourselves to a point where we stopped dating, and if I'm talking to those people who have not dated for a while, who have stayed celibate for a bit, and now who are finally looking to get back into dating with a different perspective, different energy, but still with the same expectations of wanting security, commitment. And even if you're starting to date now, you're not even shy to tell the person in the first time, the get-go, this is what I'm looking for. If before you still try to go with the flow, now you're not going to go with the flow if the intentions are not there. And that's maturity in dating, and that's understanding your pattern and having a voice. So yeah, how many ever years or months it's been for you, especially if it's been years for you where you are in a different energy altogether, emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually, and now you're starting to get back into the dating phase, I don't think that you should even regret for a second that you do not have the quantity of males or females who are lined up to go on a date with you. How it used to be before, in your time when you used to go with the flow and you used to bite your tongue on the inside, but you still used to be like, oh, I'm okay with it. And eventually you are not, as a man or a woman. You probably had a lot of men and women flocking to you because look at you. Why would they not flock? I mean, you have everything you want and you have everything they want. But you are not like the rest. You don't go with the flow unless you're going with the flow with the person who is exclusively going with the flow just with you, because you're not here to waste your time, like I said. And I feel like you and I are in a place today, now we genuinely don't have the time to spare, because right now peace has become so scarce in this fucking world. If someone can't add on to your peace, if you're not at that level where you're putting your peace and your self-respect at a pedestal, where you deserve the attention, you deserve the fucking energy, and you don't deserve half-ass energy, and you don't do half-ass energy. And that's why today I know if I ever get back into dating, it's going to be really hard. It was always hard for me, and I tried to fit in and I was difficult then. So I don't know what's going to happen now, because I'm not looking to waste my fucking time, even first date. And if you are there, it's not for a place of being a hoity-toity or being just like whatever, because many people will tell right now saying, oh, what does she think of herself and stuff like that. It's just boundaries and expectations, because that's what you've always given to a man or a woman who you get involved with, even as friends, as a stranger, any one-on-one relationship that you have had with people, it's always been an experience that you give them and that you want to receive from them. So you are just not that person. Whoever does half-ass energy with anything that you touch, feel, and that's how people feel the way they feel in your presence, and your absence is so fucking loud. So if you're that 10% of those people, your energy is magnetic and you deserve somebody who respects and reciprocates that energy. The earlier you accept that, the better you're going to get in your love life. Some of us are in a position to let people know that if you are that 10% of people who are not okay with going with the flow, don't hide that fact about you. So if you're younger, older, whatever it may be, please, because some of us did have to take a break from our dating patterns because we went through hell for going with the flow when we are not okay with going with the flow, and we became like that 90% of men and women that they dated, and we got treated that way. And so we took a break to really find ourselves again, and honestly, all it takes us back to is, fuck, we were never okay with going with the flow. So had we maintained that, we wouldn't have been here. Some of us stopped it, some of us didn't stop. So if you're here today where you're thinking, should I go with the flow? Should I tell her? Should I tell him how I feel? Tell them exactly how you feel from the fucking get-go. Don't waste his time. Don't waste her time. And honestly, they will also be grateful for you to tell them exactly what you want. And who cares if the society call you difficult? You'd rather be called difficult than a pushover. Because if you're not happy with, then how the fuck are you going to show up in the best self in this relationship with this guy or this girl? And if you just want to have sex, then just say it, I just want to have sex. But I'm talking to people who are looking for commitment, and that's the intention we're getting back into. And if you can help somebody, and if you can tell yourself, and I'm going to tell this to myself as well, I don't think I should, nor should you, bite our tongues anymore. And I think that really will help the guy or the girl that you're dating, or, even trying to see where they are headed, because you don't know where they are in their life. And a mature man, a mature woman will appreciate where you're at and what you're expecting, and if he or she can give you that or not, instead of just pretending to give you that in the first few dates till they have you hooked and then they fuck you over. And that's a cycle we've been in. And so that's the collective I'm talking to, because that's what we have been through, and therefore we are the collective who took a break, did some introspection, and now some of us are ready to get back into it. And if now we're getting back into it, we are finally okay with accepting the fact that we're never okay with going with the flow. Because many of those men and women today are like, oh my god, I should have never gone with the flow. But we were those who were never okay going with the flow, and we voiced it at some point, and so we were left. So we are not the same. And if today everyone's calling you whatever names that they're calling you and judging you for whatever failed relationships you've had, just know you're not the same. You're not like those women, you're not like those men, because you're 10%. Because you actually have boundaries. It's just that you were not okay with voicing them as positively, as authentically as you do now, or you will, and I hope you do. And when you do that, trust and believe, you will receive a man or a woman who's not here to waste your time, who's not here to waste your energy, but at the same time, he is not here to waste his time. He is not here to waste his energy. Flip the sexes. She is not here to waste her time. He is not here to waste her energy. And you as a man, you're not wasting your fucking time, energy, money on no bitch. So if we have gone through that phase of all of that stupid shit, Tom, Dick, Harry, if we've taken a break, and today we accept that we were never okay with going with the flow, to conclude, we should voice it more openly. And if anybody's in that place, if I should or I should not, say exactly what you want and how you want it, because you're saving yourself time, you're saving yourself energy, you're saving him or her his time and energy as well. So respect the guy, the girl who's giving you his or her time and energy, because not everybody over here is going with the flow. And if you're going with the flow, we'll rather go with the flow of life now and experiences. Because if we are making the effort, at least some of us, to have someone be a part of our life, it's after a lot of introspection, and it's because we want to. And that does not mean we are here for just a short stint, for a short time and a good time. We're not doing that. There's no time, there's no energy to waste. We rather spend that time and energy on ourselves and our people who actually are making the effort. So I don't think anybody needs to be apologetic about having boundaries. And any friend of yours who's telling you, oh, have multiple baskets, now is not the age, that's not maturity, and we don't have the fucking time or energy. So let the world do that. We don't have the fucking time. We'd rather spend it with ourselves. So when the thirsty men and women ask and complain, where the good men at? Where the good women at? Nobody is asking us on a date. Yeah, we are all at home now because we see for what it is. So you all can have each other.